Hi my little tri babies. Today's video is a little bit different. I wanted to share a deeply private part of my life with you because I'm hoping that this reaches other people and gives them a sense of belonging in this world. I spent most of my life trying to fit into labels that I would eventually discover didn't define me. I tried to be a man for the sake of my family and tried so hard not to be feminine because I was afraid of what the world would think of me. I'd seen how feminine men were treated and I had a genuine fear of being my own self. This fear led to years of self-hatred, which led to years of self-healing and eventually self-realization. What are my labels? I am biologically male, which means my sex is male, and I have boy parts. My sexual preference is men, which means I am gay because I like the same sex. And what I finally come to terms with is the fact that I am non-binary, gender fluid. Yes, that's right, y'all. And I feel so relieved after saying that out loud. For those of you who know me, this is probably not very surprising, but I am sure all of you have questions. So I thought I would make this a little educational moment because people fear what they do not understand. What does it mean to be non-binary? Non-binary is a spectrum of gender identities that are not exclusively masculine or feminine, identities that are outside the gender binary. In a nutshell, being gender binary is living in a box, and being gender non-binary is living outside the damn box. And there are a few ways that non-binary people live outside the box. Bigender or trigender people identify as having two or more genders. Agender or non-gendered identify as having no gender. Third gender or other gender do not place a name to their gender. And then what I identify with the most is gender fluid, which means I move between genders. And this leads me to my story time. When I was a little boy, I would steal my sister's dresses, put them on, and run around the house. But of course, little boys weren't supposed to wear dresses, so that wasn't something that lasted or was encouraged. Those were probably the first memories I had of me feeling really happy in clothing. Not because of the dresses themselves, but the way it made me feel. I was fulfilling a different part of me that made me feel whole. I was feeding the souls of my two genders. But sadly, I let my feminine soul starve so that I could survive in a society that didn't accept it. Through the years, I spent so much energy trying to prove how macho I was because I was embarrassed to be feminine. I learned that I'd be laughed at or called f***it if I wore a pair of heels. So I would dress up in drag every Halloween or wear a little bit of makeup during Pride, but it was always accompanied with the hesitancy of toxic masculinity to balance things out. Being able to define my gender doesn't define me, but it helps me see that I do have a place, even if it's somewhere in between two genders. What does this mean for me moving forward? Well, I've been non-binary my whole life, so there's nothing about me as a person that's going to change. But now you will see my ass dressing however the f I want. I may want to look like this one day, or like this another. My pronouns are officially they, them, but I will happily go by he, him, or she, her, because what matters to me the most is how I actually feel inside. And that may change because I'm always evolving. With that being said, when somebody tells you their pronouns, please respect them. Period. I know it may seem overwhelming, but it doesn't need to be, and we're all in this together. And keep in mind that this is my story, and everyone's story is different. I'll admit, when I first heard about different gender identities, I was overwhelmed, confused, and even unreceptive because I was ignorant and uneducated. But with the power of an open mind, I found peace within the same thing I was originally reluctant to see. I encourage you to educate yourself when something makes you uncomfortable, because you may have more of an open mind than you originally thought you had, and the world becomes a lot brighter. I'm feeding both of my souls now, and I'm feeling whole. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting, and don't forget, we're all just trying. So be nice.